You're listening to the Forza Podcast with your host, Marsh.
All right. Welcome on in. It is the Forza Podcast. I am your host, Marsh. As always, I am joined by my co-host and wonderful producer, Jordan. Jordan, how are we?
I'm doing good. What's up, guys?
Nothing much. And we also have Brad from Twitter on, reoccurring guest, friend of the program. Brad, what is up?
What's going on again, fellas? How are we doing tonight?
We are great. I mean, spring practice, it's underway. We just wrapped up day 3. It's 3:05 day. Like, we just got a lot going on. We got a huge show tonight. But before we get into any interviews, just wanted to recap what's been going on. Just 2 quick little things. First thing, I think it was Monday. Yeah, it was Monday. Canes got a huge commitment. Michael McLaughlin, offensive tackle 4-star out of Broward County. Brad, what do you think about that?
Dude, I mean, the kid was 6'7", 260-something pounds. I think a year or two ago at Paradise Camp, he was just starting to figure out he was an offensive lineman, and you could tell the way he was standing, his technique was a little off, but he had definitely the size to grow into it. And I think now he's starting to get a little bit more O-lineman practice under his belt. I mean, he had offers from Florida State, West Virginia, Ole Miss, Virginia, and a couple other ACC schools. But I think with Coach Justice, he's going to fill out real well, and hopefully he brings a little bit more other guys with him.
Absolutely. And I know he moved from Indiana before last year, I think. And, I mean, yeah, like I said, 4-star offensive tackle, and he's going to get more offers as his senior season goes on. But he's a guy that I was really, really hyped on, and I'm still hyped on. Jordan, you got any thoughts on him?
Dude, I've just seen his camp videos, and dude, for a 255-pound offensive tackle, good gracious, man. He's just throwing people around. Like, I'm hyped. Because once he gets, like you guys were saying, once he gets in a college strength and conditioning program, he's going to be a monster. So,
and like he just fits that type for a Rhett Lashley offensive tackle. You know, not too. I mean, he's 6'7", but like not too big. Weight wise, he's going to be able to move athletically, keep up with that up tempo offense. And so that was a great way to get the week started, spring practice started. I know we had some guys there today at practice, some recruits. We'll get to that a little bit later, but some kind of sad news, and I don't know if it's that surprising. Some people saw it coming. I kind of saw it coming, but Michael Irvin II transferring from Miami, and when you're a part of perhaps the best tight end unit and group of tight ends in the entire country, it's hard. I mean, he only has 1 year left to God, and so I think it's kind of crazy. He decided to transfer on his dad's birthday, the legend Michael Irvin, the playmaker. It was his birthday today, and his son decides to transfer that day. Jordan, what are you thinking? Are you sad, or do you understand, or what's going on?
It was expected, man. Like, I mean, if you remember what I was saying about our tight ends group last episode, I was saying that, like, I kind of expected. Dude, I'm drawing a blank. Is it Larry Hodges? Is that his name?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was expecting Hodges to kind of jump him, and I've heard good things about Mammarelli. So I just didn't really see Irvin getting a shot, and so. I appreciate that he's worked hard here, and like I hope he gets a good opportunity. I wish him the best, but this isn't surprising to me at all. I didn't really expect him to be, to really get an opportunity this year, and so it's a smart business decision. Like he's I hear he's talented, but I'm hoping the best for him.
Yeah, I mean he's from a great gene pool, so he's definitely talented. He has great hands. I remember he had a great touchdown catch in the spring game last year from Tate. And honestly, and he's an Irvin's. I just hope him the very best for his last year, and he goes somewhere that he can prove himself. Brad, you got any thoughts on that?
I mean, I couldn't agree more with both of you. I mean, like you said, not only is he at Irvin, but he's a St. Thomas Aquinas guy. We all know St. Thomas Aquinas guys usually pan out not only in college but on the pro level. So, I mean, he definitely has the talent. It sucks that we have so much talent to where we can't utilize them. Hopefully he goes to another school and balls out, similar to a guy like Gus Edwards did a couple years ago. But as we all know, man, I think honestly, I think Blades might be the only one as far as the family tree, as far as father-son duos. You had Ray Lewis's kid who didn't end up panning out a while back at corner or linebacker, I believe. And then you got Irvin as well. Yeah, Highsmith as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Blades Jr. is holding it down.
Yeah, Blades is definitely holding it down, like you said.
Absolutely.
Oh, and dude, Vincent Testaverde, how about that?
Oh, yes.
Did we have Testaverde's son?
We did.
Yeah,
we did.
He transferred from Texas Tech and played here for like 2 years and then ended up going somewhere else.
Dude, he was like he lived for like that third or fourth string. He was always like the practice quarterback for sure.
Yeah. It's hard to, especially if you're a Testaverde, when your dad was a Heisman Trophy winner, it's hard to live up to that. But those were the two biggest things that we wanted to cover before we get into our interviews tonight. Jordan, who are we talking to tonight?
Well, one thing before we get to the interview, I just want to elephant in the room was I just got thrashed on Twitter. Was it last night or 2 nights ago, man? I even had DJ retweet tell me how horrible my take was. Jeez, man, that was rough, but it was I'm still laughing.
It's about the jerseys.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it was color unis.
Jordan, we don't disagree on a lot, but you know how I feel about those smoke
Oh,
uniforms.
dude, I love them, bro. And I don't dislike our Miami Knights jerseys, but I think everyone has them, so they don't really do it for me, It's like
the Miami Knights are just so clean. Like when I think of the Miami Knight jerseys, I think of that Va-Tech game. I think of freaking Jaquan getting that one-handed pick, or I think about the UNC game where we had about 19 pick sixes. I think Joe Jackson running back an interception. And when I see the smoke jerseys, I think us giving up about a 25-point lead to FSU.
Yeah.
For sure, man. It was so disappointing not seeing those jerseys at all last season. There was like 2 games where I was like, all right, we got to have the all-black jerseys tonight. And then, of course, nothing happened. Yeah. So I'm definitely expecting the all-black unis to come back at least twice this year.
I think the October 24th game against UNC, I think that could be a primetime game if both teams live up to hype, and that would be a perfect opportunity to do it.
Yeah, I agree, man. Well, so let's get into the interviews. We got Cliff Dubois. It's CD14 or @Cliff311. He's a big part of Canes fam on Twitter, so I'm gonna patch him in right now. He I guess I'll talk more about what he's up to when we get him on here.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Hello,
Cliff. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Hey, Jordan. What's up, brother? How you doing? I'm doing great.
Good. Hey, you're here live on the Forza podcast with Brad Tejeda and Marsh.
Oh, what's up?
What's going on, Cliff? Glad to have you on, brother.
Oh, heck yeah.
Cliff, what's up, fam? How you doing, man?
Good, bro. Everything's great.
Cool. We're glad to have you on, bro. We're really pumped. So, just telling the listeners a little bit, like you were at spring practice today, correct?
Yes, sir.
Cool. So that's why we're having you on, is we want that scoop, dude. We want to know what's going on.
Yeah. All my friends, everyone's hit me up. Oh, how'd it go? How's the offense? How's this and that? And I was pleased with day 3 of practice. Looked pretty good for third day of practice.
All right. Well, this first question I'm going to lead off with is a little bit to prime the engine. Okay. So first things first, I want you to give me your 3 players that pop the most. Like, let's get hyped.
All right. For me today, from what I saw, Xavier Restrepo, the X-Man, he killed it out there. I don't think we have anybody on the team like him right now. He's just a little shifty dude that's kind of like a Wes Welker that finds little holes. He sits down and, King and the other quarterbacks were getting the ball today. He probably had 6-7 catches today, on the first offense and defense. I was really impressed with him, number 1. King would probably be number 2 for sure. He's a little shorter than I thought he would be, but let me tell you, he has nice touch on the ball. He has, pretty strong arm. I mean, and he runs like a cheetah. So I mean, definitely him. I don't think we've had a quarterback like him in a long, long time. So that's. And third would probably be Keyshawn Smith. I mean, from what I've been hearing, the first 2 days he was killing it, and today he played well again. He just looks like he's ready to play already. So those guys impressed me for sure. And I'll give you a bonus. I mean, the new hires. I'm a big fan of the 3 new coaches. On the off Lashley, the offensive line coach. I think he was on these guys like crazy, and especially Coach Likens with the wide receivers. He wouldn't let them be off any little inch. He was on top of them, hitting the ball out of their hands, scoop it up and score. And I mean, it was pretty wild. I didn't see that from Stubblefield at all when I was there last year. So
That's
I
need to go take a cold shower now. That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
Well, dude, that's just great to hear, especially about Keyshawn Smith, because Jordan and I mean, we're huge fans of Keyshawn Smith. We were pumped when he committed, and I wanted to ask you about the receivers as a whole, because that's a position that's been debated very heavily on this show and on the timeline. So, what were your thoughts on the receivers, on Wiggins, Pope, all those guys?
Oh, wait. I mean, to me, that's the group that I was most excited about today. I think that they, as a whole, they look great. So I really think that the freshman wide receivers that we have, I think we got a really, really good group of receivers that, all do little different things. But let me tell you, I think this is going to be a special wide receiver group. I was really, really pleased with that. I thought Pope did a pretty good job today. I know the first couple of days they were saying that he was, not as good as he should be yet, but I think today he looked pretty decent. Wiggins made a really nice catch today that I was impressed with. So, and even a guy like Marshall Few, that was a former walk-on and now he got a scholarship last year. He must have had 3 or 4 nice catches out there when offense and defense were, and I was really impressed with that. Kid has great hands. He scooped one that was like off a blade of grass. It was almost hitting the ground. It's kind of a bad throw by I think it was Perry, and he kind of just scooped it up and didn't touch the ground at all and caught it and took off. And I was impressed with that. So I'm really, really impressed with these young wide receivers. So so
Man,
that's my opinion. I thought, like I said, Pope played pretty well today to me. So I was really happy with that because he needs to have a breakout year for sure.
Man, Cliff, that especially about Pope, man, that sounds good because like you said, I heard a lot about these young receivers that we just added on. But someone like Pope, he definitely needs to have a big year this year. He has to step up. But hearing all these good things about the offense, what I would like to know is who's a player on defense that stood out to you, and then also if there's one position group out of the whole team right now that you think might need the biggest need to step up, what is it?
I would probably say that for the biggest need to step up, probably the cornerbacks. I would probably backs for sure, but out of that, sorry, somebody just knocked on my door. The cornerbacks for sure need to step up, but I thought like somebody like Couch and Williams, I thought they played well today, so that was a positive because I know we're so thin on the at cornerback that we're all worried about that a little bit. We only have 2 guys that played a lot last year, and we have some other guys that aren't proven. But I was impressed with what they did. But what was the other question, Brad? I'm sorry.
Name a player on defense that stood out to you.
I would say Huff today. I thought he came up, and I mean, if they were in pads, he would have drilled a couple of the running backs and one of the receivers coming off the middle. I thought he impressed me. I would say on the defense that I saw today.
Oh man, I'm smirking like the Grinch right now.
Yeah, and let me tell you, some of the other kids that were just walking around that I saw, like Cheney and stuff like that. Boy, that kid is put together, dude. He looks like a grown man already. Let me tell you.
Oh, man.
Some of the other linebackers that were walking around, I was like, man, there's some big kids. So I was impressed with that as well.
Yeah, man. Feely's putting in the work for sure.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, Jalen Phillips,